In Ethiopia, on 23rd November, there was a terrible volcanic explosion. For the first time in the recorded history of about 12,000 years, the Hayli Gubbi volcano erupted. This eruption was so sudden and powerful that people from kilometers away reported that it sounded like a bomb blast. This created a 50,000-foot-high ash cloud. This ash cloud was so massive that it could be easily seen from space. Let's look at the map. The ash cloud first flew into Oman and Yemen and eventually reached Pakistan and India. Many flights had to be canceled in Delhi. Because of this, it is very risky to operate flights around ash clouds. These ash clouds also include bits of rocks, glass particles, and crystals. If they go into an aircraft's engine, it could easily shut it down. On top of that, they act like razor blades on the airplane's glasses. If the cockpit window is near these, the ash cloud would sand it down like sandpaper. The glasses would be so scratched that the pilots might not be able to see ahead. Apart from India, many more flights were canceled in the Middle East. This ash cloud is slowly making its way towards China and Myanmar. This volcanic eruption was so powerful that its explosion could be heard from cities even 190 kilometers away. And the neighboring country, Djibouti, felt the shock waves of the earthquake. About 28 kilometers away, in the Afdera region of Ethiopia, several villages were completely covered in ash. But the good news here is that no human lives were lost in the incident. Because no one lived near the volcano, it was a remote place. In fact, this area is considered to be the world's hottest place on Earth. The place is known as the Danakil Depression. This area lies below the sea level. The temperature here often crosses 50 degrees to 55 degrees. It gets next to no rain at all. It's an interesting place for geologists and tourists. It's interesting for geologists because it's a geologically active region. There are several volcanoes here. And it's interesting for tourists because it offers colorful and unique views. Look at this. This looks somewhat alien. You get to see some beautiful yellowish, greenish, bluish colors here due to the chemical reactions taking place here. You might be wondering what had happened to cause this volcano to erupt thousands of years later. Friends, there has been a fascinating development. The African continent, it breaking apart into two. True. The tectonic plates under the volcano are shifting, and the African continent is gradually breaking apart. Millions of years ago, when there was a single massive continent called Pangaea, you've read about it in school, the supercontinent Pangaea gradually broke into several parts, giving shape to the continents we know now. If you focus specifically on the African region, then at some point, the African tectonic plate and the Arabian tectonic plate were joined. But they gradually moved apart, and the rift created between them became the Red Sea and the Gulf of Eden. Right now, what's happening is, since tectonic plates are always moving, the African plate is also splitting into two once again. The Nubian plate and the Somali plate. In the Ethiopia region where the Hayli Gubbi volcano is located, three tectonic plates come together. The Nubian, Somali, and Arabian tectonic plates. These three plates are gradually moving away from each other, causing rifts on the ground, known as the Afar Rift. And this rift is a part of the much larger East African rift on the African continent. Moving southwards from here, geologists have noticed a line, a 6,000-kilometer-long line from the Red Sea passing through Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi, and Mozambique. Friends, this is the rift that will eventually divide the African continent into two. When I'm talking about the future, it is on the geological timescale. From human perspective, it will be very long before this happens. Scientists believe that it will take between 5 and 10 million years for the continent to break apart. These two continental plates are gradually moving away from each other at a rate of 2 to 5 centimeters per year, basically the same rate at which your nails grow. This doesn't mean that everything will be as slow as this. Several volcanoes and mountains lie on the East African Rift system, like Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Kenya, Erta Elo, Ethiopia's famous lava lake. Many of the lakes found here were formed because the continents are moving away from each other, like Lake Malawi, Lake Tanganyika, Lake Albert, and Lake Kivu. If you look at it from this perspective, you'll understand that none of what's happening is unexpected. As these continental plates move away from each other, there will be an increasing number of earthquakes here. There will be volcanic eruptions. Small cracks and rifts will form on the ground. Over the past few years, there have been several such incidents. Like in July 2025, there was another volcanic eruption near Hayli Gubbi. The Ethiopia Volcano erupted. Back in July, white smoke was coming out of the Hayli Gubbi volcano. Scientists were keeping an eye on it since then. In 2005, in this Ethiopian region, a huge crack was suddenly discovered. A 60-kilometer-long fissure was formed within 10 days. Look at these amazing photos. You can see some people standing there. You can imagine the scale of this fissure. We are literally seeing a continent break apart in real time. Friends, if you are interested in such topics, you will definitely like this other video too. In it, I talk about how these geological reasons make Japan the most dangerous country in the world. Because of the movements of tectonic plates, Japan sees the highest number of volcanoes and tsunamis.